How's it going, everybody? My name is Reese. I'm an technician, and today we're going to be adjusting valves on in this case, a 2011 Honda Civic, but we're doing it for the R18 Honda motor, which is the engine that's in all of these vehicles, or maybe in all of these vehicles. You'll figure it out. So, one disclaimer I want to make before you start: if you never used feeler gauges before, You never used feeler gauges before, which are these things right here. There's a certain thing you got when you're trying to use these. There's a certain kind of pressure you want to feel for each valve when or kind of anything you use to mess with this. You never have any hands-on experience with this. I'll kind of be I'll kind of shy away from this kind of job because when you're adjusting the valves, you want to make sure that you're pretty on top of it when you want to feel it. So you don't have too much pressure, but you don't want to have not enough pressure. If you get one and you pinch it, too much pressure. You gotta have just fingernail grip in it. Grip as hard as you can with just your fingernail. That's kind of the pressure you want to have on it. Because if you end up tightening your valves too tight, you can cause a valve to not seat all the way, and if you cause them to seat all the way, you'll have engine problems. So something that I would recommend being careful about. But if you are aware or you're just willing to take a risk, I'm going to show you a video on how to adjust the valves on this car. I'm also going to change the spark plugs because we're going to take them out anyways, at least I would, and we're going to do the valve cover gasket. Now, alright, so here's the engine bay we got to work with here. First thing I want to do, I recommend doing, is we're going to just remove the windshield cowl here. Just kind of gives more space on the back of the motor. It's not hard. You just got a little plastic clip here, a plastic clip here, a plastic clip here. Before we take the plastic clips off, I'm going to take this rubber seal off here. Boom, there we go, set it to the side. Doing any leaves or anything in here too probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get rid of all that. See, get the clips out. Alright, set these aside. Allegedly, but there we go. There's a bunch of clips in here that you got to pop up. So let's do it here. There we go. All right, sweet. Okay, and right underneath it, you got your little hose there for the washer jet. So try to find an area you can break it apart there or there, but try to break it apart somewhere. So you're there we go. Sweet, boom. And when your clips, you want to make sure you have them all. I do miss one, but it's right here. So the clip just slides in right there. Even it says blue clip. But boom, we're taking the cowl off. So next thing we got here, if you got this metal piece here, this is it's kind of like the brace bar for between the shock tires, like you see on most cars. However, Honda tries to kind of hit it, but you got 3 10mm bolts, bam, 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 and you got some back here. Yeah, boom. So you got 3 of those, and to 3 here, 3 in the back, 3 on the side. So let's take those loose. Alright, so there's 3 bolts in the back. I don't know if you see them. There's one right here. You gotta loosen, and there's one right way back. That one's always the hardest one to get to, or not the hardest one to get to, it's always the hardest one to find. This one people always losing. Now, another thing too, I do have the hood in service mode, so your prop rod goes into a hole right there, but there's another hole down there and puts in service mode, so then the hood stands kind of almost straight upright. That's kind of how this working in, so I have kind of more room to work with here. If you did not know, there you go. But these bolts right here are not 10mm, so 12s. So the ones, those 2 right there, here and here, and same thing on that side. So we're gonna get a 12mm and start busting those bad boys loose. Alright, so when you got those bolts loose, this right here should just come out. Just like that. We're gonna set this to the side. But one more thing we gotta do is we gotta take off the battery. I got a little bit of corrosion here, but we gotta disconnect the battery because we do gotta remove the wiring harness for the alternator. So just gonna make it safe. Oh, there we go. Now for a top cover, you do want to get a flathead screwdriver, put it in, and bust these bad boys 90 degrees. Yeah, there we go. Boom, there we go. Alright, got the little cover off. Take the cover off, it's a little tricky. You want to take these parts out first and kind of flip it forward, and then it'll pop right out. Because it does lock on these little tabs right here. Now, speaking of tabs, we're going to take about 10mm here, 10mm here, and then the connections for the alternator right there. Alright, now for this, we got a little clip we push here and pop off. Right here, push this clip, pop it out that way. This, we're going to take this little part out, and there's a little button. You want to push the button, and this part comes out, and then you open this up, and then you got your little nut there. It's probably an 8mm. Take that loose, and then this should all come loose. How to fight to put this harness off, but you guys see in there, there's a little clip right there. You push that tab in. Ah, it is a 10. Okay. Now we're going to do this for the coil packs here and for all the cylinders. You got a little plug right here. You want to pinch and then kind of like remove it. Boom, also a 10. Look at Honda. Alright, now for these coil packs, we're going to remove them. We're going to do a little bit of a shimmy and pull. We want to make sure we keep these in the exact order as we took them out. We're going to do a little shimmy and pull, shimmy and pull. And guess what we're going to do for this one? We're going to just shimmy and pull. You're right. Alright, so we got a spark plug socket here. We're going to use a spark plug socket to get the spark plugs out. We're going to take spark plugs out. Now make sure when you do this job you're doing it on a cold motor. Actually, honestly, actually looks really good for having this many miles on it. Number 2 looks like, or number 3 looks like it ran a little warmer, but I mean still, that looks assembled in the US with Japanese and US parts. Nice. Yeah, so this car only has 126,000 miles, but it is 14 years old. I just drove this thing back from Florida on about a 9 to 12 hour drive. Yeah, these look good, dude. Number 1 probably looks the worst, but still really good for all of these considerably. Like if you didn't have any more spark plugs, or you didn't have any, I would keep running these. But since we got new ones, we're going through the new ones in it. But these, not bad. Actually impressive. So now be very careful. We're going to screw these nuts back onto the thing. Now you gotta be very careful because we have an open engine. So anything that falls in these holes goes straight to the cylinder, and we are not getting them out. We got a wiring harness here on the back side, 2 10mm bolts. We're taking those bad boys off. This wiring harness right here, you're just gonna really just move it back. We're not really doing nothing too crazy with it. Alright, next we're taking dipstick out. A little plastic dipstick. And we're gonna take off this hose right here. And then we should be ready to start taking the valve cover off. Yeah, do my Snapchat streaks. Oh yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 valve cover bolts to take off. And these are also 10s. You know, keeping the level alive, Honda. Oh, and these are really easy to come loose. There we go. You use the bolts right here. Sweet. That's 3 of them right there. Now that should be 8 bolts. Oh, I'm missing one. We're about to take the valve cover off, and we're about to see kinda the condition of the motor and how well it was taken care of, and how well the oil has treated it. So make sure you get most of the big stuff around the valve cover. But let's go ahead and break the seal. There we go. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. First of all, look at that. So we got very little staining here, which You got stains like that. Oh, it comes right off. Okay, sweet. Normally staining like that comes from if you don't use like a synthetical, if you use like a traditional, which is not bad. But it causes things to stick sometimes after a while. That's why you do your oil changes. But this looks really, I mean, the fact that all of it still looks metal, you get your intake, your exhaust rocker and everything. Oh, that looks good. Your timing chain right here looks good. Dude. I mean, we cleaned this top part up right here. You would not be able to tell me this is a 120,000 mile car. That is insane. That's really good. So, sweet. Well, now we got the engine torn apart. I'm gonna go get a water break because I am thirsty. It's hard to see, but there's a little nut right there. It's a 19 millimeter. You're going to put your socket on that to turn the motor on. To get to it in your wheel well, there's like a little mark right there. You put a socket through there, and it cranks the motor over. Now, I recommend removing the spark plugs because if you're to turn that over, sometimes you're going to have to fight the compression stroke, and it's going to be it's going to give you some resistance. I always recommend removing the spark plugs because then the motor should turn over more freely, and if it ever does hang up on you, you know that it's not a problem with anything like a valve or something, and that you can keep going. Yep, 19 millimeter. All right, sweet. So that's kind of what I'm doing when I mean turning the engine over. That's kind of what I'm doing. Another thing you want to look at here is on your you got your pulley here. There's numbers and stuff on it. Like this one says up. We want that in the absolute most upright position to start adjusting the valve. So, all right, so we're ready to do valve 1. Has a little bit of wiggle in it on the intake and the exhaust. That's good. Now we can tell this because number 1, it'll just say the number. It'll say up. Might be hard to see. It'll say up right there. And you have these 2 little slashes here and then there. Makes it probably really hard to see with the GoPro here. In the lack of light. Okay, let me shred some light on the situation just to see. You see a little slash mark right there, and a little slash mark right there. So the slash marks are important because you want to get like a feeler gauge or really kind of anything like anything flat that you're using. You'll probably be using a feeler gauge if you're adjusting valves. And that little hash mark, if you put your feeler gauge lined up right here on the valve cover, you should be able to like line up or scratch that slash mark perfectly on both sides if your feeler gauge is flat with the valve cover. If it does not do that, it's not perfectly in the right position, and you can tell it says up. I have to readjust all 4 of these valves here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to crank this wheel over, or crank the wheel over until it says number 2. When it goes to number 2, we do the same thing. We use the feeler gauge, check the slashes to make sure everything's leveled, and then we go on cylinder 2 and 3 and 4, and then we're done. There's two different options you can use, or 2 different tools you can use to adjust your valves. So the first one, let me set it up here. So the first one right here, 10 millimeter wrench. You break the nut loose, and then a flathead screwdriver to kind of adjust it back and forth. Now this is basic as it gets. I actually always done it with these, but if you want to be a little bougie and be a little fancy, they do make a special tool here. Basically, this part will come down. You get this part on here. It locks on the nut like a 10 millimeter. You basically bust this part loose, adjust it with a screwdriver, and then tighten this part back down. Because when you go tighten it down, you want to make sure you hold your position on your valve. But I'll show you here in a second. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do cylinder 1 with the old school method, cylinder 2 with the new tool. And I could just kind of see what one's better. I've always used basically just a wrench and screwdriver because I always had it handy. This tool here was like 30 bucks. It does come with feeler gauges. I'll put a link in the description down below if you're interested in using it. You know, when I worked at Honda, a lot of people used them. It worked really well. I never used them, but I don't know. We'll find out today if it's worth it or not. So cylinder 1. Now for the spec sheet for this, let me pull it up. All right, so I got the specs. So on the intake, you want to do 0.008. Or you want to do 0.010 for the exhaust. So the valves here, these 2 are the exhaust. These 2 on the back are the intake. So how we're going to do this, let me get on my knees here. I I guess put that right on there and do this. Okay, so now this is the exhaust side. So the exhaust side is going to be the bigger number, so the 0.0 or the 0.25. So now we're going to get it under the valve, and we're just going to move it. So that is a little loose. We're going to just a little bit. Now it's way too tight, so it's just come back in. Right there. So now that's perfect right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold the screwdriver. We're going to tighten the nut down. I'm going to hold the screwdriver while you tighten the nut down, because then if you try to loosen the nut or tighten the nut, it'll move the screw with it. So that right there is perfect. Love it. Sweet. So they're loose now. We're going to do the back side. I don't know if you saw that when I was loosening the nut. This is where you want to be worried about too. You want to be worried about this when you're tightening it down, but how you move the nut, it's moving this, it's moving the screw too. You don't want that. So that's why when you're let's move it down here. Can you even see this? Yeah. So that's why when you're doing this, you're going to hold the wrench down. Right down. See, and this is kind of like I was saying, the good part about using the tool would probably be this right here. Sweet. Boom. So just like that, all the valves are adjusted. The back ones are a lot harder to use with the wrench thing, so I'm actually kind of excited to see the tool and make it easier, at least here, because we got this harness stuff in the way. But we'll see here. Sweet. Cylinder number 1 is done. Alright, sweet. So now we're going to go to cylinder 2. So I'm going to come over here. Watching that chain right there. You get your alright, sweet. So we're coming up on cylinder 3. Because right there has a number 3 in a square. Now you get your feeler gauge. There's a little slash mark. You line that up with the thing. We're not quite there, so you gotta move it down a little bit more. You want to be lined up with that hash mark. Right there. Yep. You got a hash mark there. Yep, perfect. Sweet. So now it says right there number 3, so not number 2. So now we work on cylinder number 3. Make sure these are all sweet. Yeah, because if they're like tight like that, don't want to adjust those. You want to adjust the ones that are free flowing. Like this. Sweet. So now we're going to use the tool. Alright, so now we're going to do cylinder 3 using the tool, which I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of excited about. Because, excited to use the tool because we just used it with the wrench and the socket in the back of it. It's actually kind of tricky. So, I'm tying the wrench and the screwdriver, and we're using this $30 tool from Amazon. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to get this on the valve, bring this puppy out. Oh, okay. That made that. That was okay. Okay. So I just use this tool here, and this is now part of my new religion. This thing is awesome, dude. Dude, that is. Okay, I like this a lot actually. I don't know how to describe it other than it was the greatest thing of all time. You put this on here, right? Bring this thing down here. You pop the nut loose like that. You sit here and adjust it, and then you tighten it back, and then you're done. That is, dude. I mean, I was like, it's $30, but worth it, dude. Oh man. So then the hardest part you're messing with is just the feeler gauge. So let's do it again. Maybe it was just a fluke. So we're going to break this bad boy loose. Leave the handle hanging out because the handle itself is keeping it weighed down. Let's get this under the valve here. If I can get right there. tighten the handle down. Dude. Okay. Oh yeah. Dude, this tool right here, definitely a cop. Put a link down in the description below. This is awesome. I don't know how this thing hasn't cured cancer yet, but let me try this real quick. Let me try something. Let's take this awesome tool off here. Let's just unplug all the... There we go. Okay, yeah, so we're doing that. We're unplugging the fuel injectors and we're just moving this plastic piece out of the way. Sweet, that's going to give us, believe it or not, actually a lot more room than I thought. Sweet, okay. This tool is awesome. Love it. Yeah, so far, what do I recommend using? The tool, for sure. Not even a doubt in my mind. This thing is awesome. I mean, dude. Oh, man, okay, that's pretty cool. Because it gets, like, back here, I was having trouble with the wrench. Trying to get the fit. That did it no problem. And I kind of get to focus a little bit more on the actual adjustment part itself. So that's pretty cool. But, sweet. So... yeah, well, I'm not going to record me sitting here and doing the rest of it. I'm going to go back, turn the motor off, finding a different cylinder, adjusting that cylinder, going back, and I'll let you guys know when I'm done, so we can start putting everything back together. Alright, sweet, so we did all the valves. All the valves have been adjusted. I tried to clean up a little bit. You can see it came out maybe marginally better. I don't know. So now we're going to start putting stuff back together. So first we got this cover here. It's a weird looking thing, but let's see what the pressure points are. You're here and here. So let's put this, put that. Next, I'm going to plug in the fuel injectors. Number 1. Number 2. I'm going to plug it in until you hear it click. 3. And then number 4. Sweet. Plug in the sensor right here. Alright. So you do want to get a little bit of silicone there and there. So I'm going to put the valve cover gasket on. It gets a good seal from the front cover here because I do leak a good bit. So I got a new valve cover gasket here from AutoZone. Water break. Okay. So you want to get your gasket here and you just want to peel it out. Yeah, this gasket's this gasket lost its touch, so we're making a good call here. Placing the valve cover gasket now. I want to say it goes on like that. Just pinch this on first. I'm just going to kind of push the gasket into the channel here. Bam, sweet. Just like that, your gasket's on. Got a blue gasket for a blue car. Get a little bit of dirt in here from. Sweet, so let's go install this in the car. Right here, push this pull strap back. This a little cover here. Fuel injector cover. Bam. Oh. You don't want to slide around too much because you don't want to mess up your silicone you got going on. Now when you're tightening down your valve cover bolts, you want to kind of start in the middle and work your way out. So you want to start with this one, that one, this one, this one, this one, this one, that one. Now maybe we keep going back and forth. So I'm going to start right here. And we're going to do this pattern twice. So the first time we're just going to tighten it as much as we can by hand. Sweet, now same thing but with a ratchet. These are not tightened down very tight at all. Alright, sweet. Now, just to make sure they're snug, one more pass through, but just none crazy. You're not trying to break it. Now I'm going to put this harness down. Alright, next thing we're going to do, we're going to plug this little hose in right here. Right, push that in, we get this clamp here, then we go get some pliers. Bam, just like that. So now we gotta get our wiring harness here. Bring this bad boy over. And remove the 10mm on the alternator. Alternator, we're just gonna plug in our plugs here. Plug that one in right there. Plug this one right there. Put this little clip right here. Line up and push it back down. Get your 10mm on your valve cover and stick one in here. And stick the other one right here. So the spark plugs I'm using today are the Auto-Lite Iridium. Only reason why I'm using these is just because it was the only thing that had an AutoZone. So with spark plugs, we're going to put it in here. In the socket, I'm just kind of going to run it down and then kind of screw it in. Let me go figure out what the torque spec is on this real quick. Alright, so 16 to 18 foot-pounds. So, there we go. Yep, you can feel it. Sweet. Alright, so after you put in all the spark plugs, now it's time to put in all the coil packs. So we're going to remove the holes here. Back into where we got them out from. So this is number 4. Number 3. There we go. You'll hear a very faint click kind of sound. And another one right here. So now we're going to put the hardware back on for them. The tie down bolt. Then we're going to tighten the tie down bolts here. None crazy, none too tight, just snug. You're not trying to hold them out, you just don't want them to fall out. You can get Honda and their famous plastic dipstick. Stick that in right there. You want to get the little plug thing here. So as of right now, the motor is basically put back together. The only thing we got to do now is put the cowl back on, and we're good to go. The GoPro didn't record any of that, dude. The GoPros, they keep overheating, and I already had to keep switching them out twice. So I got majority of everything put back together. Still got some of the stuff on the ground over here, over there. But overall, the job wasn't too hard. It was more tedious than anything else when you get some valves. Pick some stuff up while I'm talking here. But it wasn't a bad job entirely, or in general. Like, it's not a job for the faint of heart. If you're like doing new like mechanic stuff, I wouldn't recommend doing a job like this. But the tool that we use though for doing the valves, this tool right here. So I love this thing. Now a couple problems I did have with it is that this piece right here would like just to slide off a lot. You can use it without it. I just kept pushing it back on. In fact, it comes up and down. You can spin it. That's pretty cool. Apparently, you can use this on some other vehicles. Anything with a 10mm end on it and a flathead screwdriver, really. But I I mean, Honda in general made it pretty simple to adjust the valves, so you can tell, you know, with everything marked on the gears, how to get to even the crankshaft, turn it over, all that stuff. Didn't have any issue with anything. It's kind of adjusting valves where it's got tedious, but as of right now, one thing left to do is to go start it and see how it runs. So let's go do that. Alright, we're in the car. Let's go ahead and see if it starts. Alright, did roll the window down already, just to hear anything suspicious. But seemed pretty good. Idling pretty steady. The top of the thing there is a little messed up, but seems like it's running really well actually. Let me go ahead and shut the hood and everything, and let's go down the road. Sweet, that was a buddy of mine from man, when did we meet? It had to been, man, I don't know, we used to, so that was a buddy I met from I'm trying to think, I was in middle school, but he lived in the neighborhood I lived in. So that's where I met him. He just got an old lady. Oh yeah, good for him. What are you doing, my guy? What is this? What is all of this? He's trying to go around the van, but he won't be able to see because the van's in the way. So now you just look dumb. Oh man, I need some people. Alright. The car feels definitely more snappier for sure. Driving good, driving good. Wait, car drives pretty great. Alright guys, so I came back from the test drive and it drove great. It doesn't drive worse than it did before, but I mean, I don't think it drives better. If it does, it's like marginally. But the valves, for the most part, weren't really out of adjustment, except for two on the intake side seemed a little bit loose. But I went ahead and just did them all while I was there. And honestly, for inside of how the motor looked, how simple everything was to get to, take the valve cover off and fix and change, even take the cowl off, how simple it was to adjust the valves and everything. This was pretty simple, which is, I mean, one of the reasons why I like Honda a lot. I mean, only until I use a 10mm for a majority of everything, except for the two 12mm. I mean, even to do the valves was a 10mm. Good job. So, thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys have any questions or anything on it, like I said, please leave down in the comment section below. If you guys have anything you want to say or talk about, let me know. Please subscribe if you enjoy this kind of stuff. And yeah, I respond to every comment, is what I like to say. Sometimes one or two will slip the cracks right on my phone because I just don't get notified about it. But majority comments get answered. So if you have a question, shoot. Or even if you guys say you've done it before or you're nervous about doing it, please let me know. And please let me know what you guys think about this tool here. Because honestly, dude, I used the wrench and the screwdriver for the first one, did the rest of them with this one, and then after I was done with the three, I kind of went back and did the first one again. Or this thing. So, dude, that, honestly, I wish I knew about that thing. Like, I knew about it, but I was like, you don't need that. Getting to use one. But, anyways, talk to you guys later. Hope you have a good one, and, yeah, see you next one.